Hi guys, Natasha here again, and I want to thank everyone that took the time to glance at my video. Mostly it was only 2 people so far, but that's because I only posted it today. However, one of the people that did see it was my friend Sandman, and Sandman has never played Don't Starve, and I didn't realize this. So his suggestion, because he was very interested in the game and the gameplay, was that I make a sort of how to play video, which I am going to do. So as you can see, I got Don't Starve up, and we're going to hit play, and we're going to create a new game, and I'm going to use Wilson, because that's who you would start with if you were playing this game from the beginning. I do have Reign of Giants on, so if you don't have Reign of Giants, which I do suggest that you get, go ahead and you're going to have a different experience. So go ahead and get that if you can. I understand if you can't. I haven't done anything with the world. You can go into the world and change things. Actually, I am going to do something with the world. I'm going to make sure that I start in spring instead of fall. I don't like fall because it goes right into winter. I prefer to go into summer. So I'm going to apply that, and then I'm going to click start. And what I hope to show you in this video is about the first 5 days of surviving. And I'll tell you the basics of what we're doing, and that way you kind of have a clue of how to play the game. So, like I said, this video is kind of dedicated to Sandman and anyone who watched, so thank you very much. And as you can see, here we are starting. This is Wilson down here. This is the person that I forgot his name. But you don't really interact with him much, but you can unlock him as a character, I believe, to play. And as I'm starting, you can see that I'm already picking things up off the ground. This is something that you're going to do throughout the whole game. You're going to want to make sure that you're rich in resources, because when it gets to winter or summer, there are going to be things that you won't have access to, and it's going to make it very, very hard to survive. So we're picking saplings and grass, and we're getting twigs and cut grass and rocks and flint off the ground. What these are used for is the crafting menus over here. So as you can see, there's tools, and I'm going to make myself an axe because that allows me to attack things, but it's mainly used for cutting wood, which is another one of the resources that we're going to need. You can attack things with it, but if it's any sort of a serious enemy, I don't recommend it. The axe doesn't hit very well, and so don't craft an axe and think you can go out and take on the world. It's not going to happen that way. Most likely you're going to end up dead. And you can interact with pretty much all of the world. Even when you get further into the game and you can make more tools, you can pull up the earth and change, basically, the look of the ground. So it's pretty interactive, honestly. And the grass, what it's used for a lot, well, it's used for a lot of things, but it's also used to make traps at the beginning, and as you can see, that's a collapsed rabbit hole. But there are normally rabbit holes on the ground that have rabbits in them that you can put traps right over, and if you line it up properly, whenever the rabbit appears, or if it goes back down into its hole, you can trap them, and then you'd harvest the trap and kill the little bunny rabbit in your inventory and use him for meat. Or there's actually earmuffs that you can make with the alive bunny rabbit, and that's to keep you warm. Now, if you look up here in the timing, it is evening, which means a lot of things have changed, a lot of the animals and things like that have gone away, but there's still enough light that you are fine to continue traveling and wandering the world without too much worry. There are spiders out there that would give you a bit of a tough time for existing because they do come out of their webs and roam the area in the evening, all the way through the nighttime. They don't like the sunlight though, so. As you can see, I made a pickaxe, which requires 2 flint instead of just the 1 that the axe does. And right now I am chopping up these rocks, because the flint is used for all the tools. Rocks are used for several other things, including, which will be basically your home base fire, which is a fire pit. And that's more permanent than just the campfire. It will stay there, and you can start it back up at any point in time using some sort of, be it poop, wood, or something like that. An accelerant, I guess, is the word that I want. But the gold is important as well, that I'm getting out of these gold mines. These are the ones with, obviously, the gold veins in them. That is used for science. And the science machine and the alchemy lab allow you to create tools and other things that you wouldn't really be able to until you build them. And the interesting part about that is that when you create those, the first time that you create something, you have to be near the alchemy machine or the science machine to do it. But after that, you get to keep the pattern, and anywhere you go in the world, you can create whatever it is that you created at the thing. And up here, this is a tall bird. That is his nest. Going near it. Normally if you go near it, and there's an egg in there, that tall bird is going to get very angry and chase you. Like he is now, because I hit him in the face with a pickaxe. So be wary of those and tall bird nests, because they don't go very far from their nests. And I'm getting into an area where there are buzzards, as you can see the nests, or not the nests, the shadows on the ground. And sometimes, if you're in an area where there's limited food, you can use these guys as a food source. They are not easy to get, but you can. And this area right here is a road. And as you can see, when I travel on it, I travel a little bit faster than normal. And there are other roads that are more refined than this and more obvious roads, and they let you travel even faster than this. So I like roads. Generally, at the end of them, they have something interesting.
DR Peppers connected.
You can hear my friends coming on Mumble. You can hear... Sorry, not hear. You can find things at the end of the roads that are useful to you, be it pig that live at the end of the road, or other things like that. They generally take you to someplace interesting, or even if they don't, they allow you to travel quickly through areas. So always be on the lookout for roads, follow them, and you can map them. So whenever you travel someplace, this maps automatically, and you can see these little things here that allows you to know what's there, like the nest from the tall bird, the vultures, the berry bushes that we've picked, the grass, the twigs. The berry bushes, the grass, and the twigs will all grow back over time, given time. And I'm not quite sure what those are. I believe those are the different trees. I don't like to knock those trees down, because they're more likely to turn into monsters. And I can't fight them right now. Now, since we got our fire, let's go ahead and cook some food. As you saw,
DR Peppers disconnected.
I took the berries that
DR
I picked,
Peppers connected.
and I cooked them up. And you could eat them raw, but the good thing about cooking these is that it gives you more food. So that's what I do. You can eat the carrots and the berries raw. When you get meat, eating meat raw will either bring down your health or your sanity, or both. And you don't want that. This is your health. This is your sanity. This is my wetness meter. As it rains, it's going to go up. Traveling in this darkness, not a good idea. The reason for that is that the farther out I go, he complains that it's dark, and then if I kept going, you can hear badness, and that badness is there to get me. That would want to kill me. There are ways to travel in the dark. There's a torch. There, I believe, is also eventually a helmet that allows you to travel. I believe it's some sort of minor helmet. I don't like to do that, just because I'm not the best at surviving when there are things attacking me. So I just don't do that. And it is almost daylight, so I don't have to give my But when it's raining, by the way, you have to feed it more fuel than you would if it wasn't raining. And that's just to keep it alive, because if you let your fire go out, you pretty much are at the mercy of the darkness and you end up dead. And I do not like the rain, because it just makes my character sad. It messes with their sanity a lot of times, and the wetness just makes them unhappy. So we're just going to keep following this road for now, picking resources as we go. These are the trees that I do not like, the birch-nut trees. I will show you what it looks like when they are chopped down though, so that you're aware. Chop, chop, chop. And I hear pigs. I like pigs. They give logs, just like normal, and they also give birch nut instead of the pine cones that the other ones give. Here are pigs. These are generally friendly, to a sort. They won't attack you unless you attack them, with one exception. When it is a full moon, they will turn into were-piggies and attack you. But normally, if you hang out around these guys and something attacks you, you can run it through them, and sometimes they'll attack it automatically, or other times the thing might have to accidentally attack the pig before they'll attack. But they're pretty good. Turkeys. Turkeys are good because if you drop berries, they will turn around, or apparently the pigs are going to eat them all. As you can see, if you drop berries around pigs, they will poop for you, which is good. We like poop. And now, these turkeys are going towards the berries that I've put on the ground, and they will eat one pile at a time. If you have multiple berries in a stack, they will only eat one berry before running away. But it is worth it to put down the berries, because the drumstick that they drop is far more valuable than berries. And so, I don't know where the other turkey is. There it is. We'll go ahead and drop these berries, because he already ate all the other berry bushes, and boom. Like I said, with evening, the animals and creatures tend to react differently. You can still wander, but as you can see, the pigs have all gone into their homes. And you might see that they're lit up. They're not useful to you because of the fact that if you go towards them, they turn off their lights. Apparently they're very paranoid. So don't think that if you find those are going to be useful to you. They aren't. Ooh, spider. As I said, spiders come out in the evening, and there must be a spider nest around here somewhere. Here they are. This way you can see what the nest looks like, and when you kill spiders, they sometimes drop glands, or monster meat, which is up here, which he ate. It was monster meat, but the spider ate it because he's a sicko. You eat monster meat, you'll get very sick. Don't eat monster meat. You can't eat it even if it's a pig. But you can give to pigs, and they will protect you from daylight time until evening, I believe. And here's more spiders. And sometimes, when spiders are killed, they will drop webbing, which is used in a couple different things, nets, stuff like that. So it's pretty valuable. So you might want to note where you see the spiders. It'll be noted on your map already. But keep a mental note so that you know where to go back. And I am going to spend the night near the pig village, but for right now I'm going to go ahead and empty out my bags a little bit, so I'm going to plant that. And you can take pine cones and plant them. This is a good idea, because if you harvest too many trees too fast, and as you can see, my screen just got all weird, and that's because it is getting cold. And my character does not like cold, but luckily the rain stopped, so that's good. To combat the cold, you'd build a fire, but you don't have to worry about it too much if, you know, it's no longer cold. Lost my train of thought, sorry. Actually, I think my character needs to eat, so I'm going to make my fire early anyways, and plant it over here by the pigs. Now, if you felt you preferred them, you can make your home run around pigs. Like I said, full moon, they will turn into were-pigs, and they are no longer friendly to you. I personally like to build around beefalo, which you haven't seen yet. And the reason I like beefalo, besides the fact that they're cute, is that that poop that you just saw me use to make my fire bigger, the manure, they produce it constantly. I don't have to feed them anything. They just regularly produce it. And they also do not go into a home in the evening. So if I have something attacking me, I can run at the beefalo and run around the beefalo and say this bush was a beefalo. I run around it like this and hope that the thing attacking me would stop here and do their attack in the beefalo's direction. Because if they do, that beefalo, who is very strong and powerful, will turn around and beat the ever-loving crap out of them. And so that protects me, keeps me from having to deal with whatever enemy is attacking at the time, and keeps me safe. So if I ever got strong enough, I could also kill the beefalo for food. So food, poop, protection, all sorts of things you can get from the beefalo. They too have a not so safe time, and that's when they go into heat. You'll know that they're in heat because their little butts will be bright red. And that means that they're in heat and that anything in their territory, birds, you, pigs, spiders, anything, will be under attack. And so don't go near the beefalo when they are in heat, though you can still run towards them when you are being attacked, because most likely they will also attack whatever is attacking you, and you run away. So if you do build near beefalo, like I am hoping to do if I can find them, then I recommend building far enough away that you can get to them easily, but they won't be wandering through your camp, because otherwise they will kill you when they go in heat. And after they're done with their heat, they have little babies that are ugly as sin, that only a mother could love. And as you can see, the spiders are skirting around my fire, but they don't like light, so they're not going to come near me generally, unless I hit them and they were chasing me. Then they'd probably go after me. But for now, I am safe here with my low light, and I'm going to rearrange my inventory so that it is not quite so messy. I don't like messy inventory. And the poop is used for feeding the fire, or after I make the science machine, I'll have the ability to make farms and stuff like that. And that requires poop to make the farm, but also I can use the poop to speed up the production of my food on the farm. So that's also good. Poop is very valuable in this game. And it is such a valuable commodity, and if you ever run into beefalo, when you go near them to take the poop, it is very funny, because they seem very puzzled why you are taking their poop, and make a sort of noise that just tickles me pink. This area, right here, is bad, dangerous area. And I don't normally go into it. I'm only going into it now because there is a road that can easily get me out of danger. But if you see, there is rumbly stuff on the ground. Let me see if I can find one that I can get close to that isn't going to kill me. Oh, this thing. If you ever see this thing, run, pick it up immediately. Because this eye bone opens, and then this thing comes along, and that's Chester. He's a little pumpkin guy. You can store things in him, and he follows you around as long as you have the eye bone. If you wanted to leave him at a camp that you set up, you can leave the eye bone on the ground there, and Chester will stay there. He can be killed, and you don't lose access to your stuff completely, but you have to wait until he respawns. And if you look, that is why this place is so dangerous, because those little lumpies are tentacles, and they're very dangerous. And being too close to them makes them very angry. And I'm going to pick these reeds real quick because I believe 4 of them allows me to make a piece of papyrus. And that is useful later on, but I just want the ability to make it later when I get the refine ability, which I would get from my science. Like I said, the first time that you craft anything from the science, I believe I said that, you get to keep that ability. So I like to have the ingredients to craft things, so that when it does come time to make my science machine, which I will normally make whenever I get to a good spot where I'd like to set up my camp completely, I can just go ahead and make that and not have to worry about it, and then whenever I need it later on, I'll be able to make it. The waste of the science machine. Right now I'm chopping down wood because I'm chopping down trees to get wood. And, oh, okay. There's the end of the bed. This is not the area that I wanted to be in. Exactly, but it's good. This is the mole down here. Isn't he cute? He eats rocks and stuff that is left on the ground. So if you're around a mole, there's a good possibility that for a very good direction, there is not going to be any flint or rocks on the ground. This is a pig king. If you ever dig up graveyards, which not recommended unless you know what you're doing, you may find weird stuff like a plug for a tub or whatever, and you give that to him, and he will spit out gold for you, gold nuggets, and you can quickly get gold nuggets if you can't find any gold vein rocks, which is sometimes something that happens. Just the random layout of the map. Pretty much every map is randomized when you start a game. So if you start in a bad area, sometimes you just don't have access to some things very quickly. Let's see if we can find some place interesting before nighttime. I like to reference my map pretty often. That way I know if I've already explored an area and I'm just looking at it from a different angle. These little things on the ground, by the way, are where mushrooms are. There are some mushrooms that spawn during the day, and some mushrooms that spawn during the evening. So, depending on time of day, a mushroom will either be up or down. And if it's down, you can make a shovel, which you can't right now, because it's locked, and you have to use a science machine to build a prototype. If you have a shovel, you can dig it up at any point in time. It won't grow back. And that way you can harvest them anytime. As you can see, there's green mushrooms here. I don't remember which one it is. I want to say it's blue mushrooms, but blue mushrooms, if you cook them and eat them, they will increase your sanity. I'm not sure if it drops your health or your hunger, or increases your hunger, either or. But those are mosquitoes. We don't like mosquitoes. They hang out in the evil area near ponds in the evening. They will attack you because mosquitoes. That's what they do, even in the game, because mosquitoes are baddies. And I haven't seemed to find anything interesting. I'm gonna look at where the road leads. There's another smaller road on the side here. So I'll spend my last few minutes of daylight, well, evening time, going this direction. Hello, Mr. Mole again. Just to see if I can find anything interesting. Actually, I did. I'm going to go ahead and camp near this wormhole. I'm going to explain about this wormhole. What this wormhole is that it's basically an intestine with teeth, and you can jump in that wormhole, but what happens is you lose a whole bunch of sanity, which isn't good, and you are dumped out at the other end of the wormhole, like a giant intestine, and you don't know where you'll be. It could be in a very large area of just badness, or you could be in an area of amazing things, but then you'd still be at low sanity, and low sanity will sometimes turn crazy things that you see on the ground into angry things that want to kill you. And that's never a good thing. So use wormholes with caution, and maybe don't use them at first. I'm also going to tell you about flowers real quick. These things, when you pick them, they will increase your sanity a little bit just by picking them. But if you gather enough of them, you can make them into garland, which you can wear in your little slot here. And during the daytime hours, it will increase your sanity just by being on your head. Because apparently you're more sane if you wear a ring of flowers on your head somehow. I don't pretend to understand what's going on. You can add lots of things to this fire, by the way. And it will fuel it. So, just in case you're wondering, there's lots of things that you can dump in there. I could dump the reeds in there as well, but I'm not going to. What I am going to do is put them in a chester. And petals of leaves, or the flower petals, also have a depletion bar, so beware of that. And if you ever catch these butterflies, which require a net and spider stuff, then you can use them to release them, and it will instantly make a new flower. So just a thought. There's more piggies. There are apparently a lot of pigs on this map. Very little in the way of grasslands. That makes me very sad. But we're going to continue down this road. And... oh, it looks like it loops back. And it does, of course. Since it loops back, what I am going to do is go all the way towards the side and see if I run into a river or not. Well, body of water, because I'm trying to find places that I haven't explored yet that could possibly lead to more land. And I'm also going to pick flowers as I go. Oh, these are interesting. You can kill these guys and get food from them. However, the game internal system has a good bad system, and if you do enough bad things, which killing these guys is considered a pretty hefty bad thing, then a creature called Krampus will come, and he will try to kill you, and he will succeed in killing you if you do not know what's going on or are not prepared. And I think that raccoon cat thing is a thing with Chester. But yeah, this is where the little raccoon cats live. If you nest nearby them, sometimes they will kill things or bat around things and end up dropping morsels of food, and they don't eat it. So if you are near them, you can sometimes get food for free off the ground. They also drop wet bloop a lot, which is weird. Just a little thought. But yeah, if you're desperate for food, you can kill these critters and cook them, but it's going to put a ding in your invisible goodness bar. So just keep that in mind. More flower petals. And again, it's getting late. And so, trying to figure out which way I should be going to get more land. Because it seems it must be back this way. I can probably go up above the rocks. Most times, I know a lot of other players like to have set up a camp and everything already quickly. I'm more worried about having things that will protect me. I'm not so worried about having a camp as long as it's not close to winter or things like that. Look, more spiders. I don't want these guys to attack Chester, so I'm not going to remain here. I am going to continue along the water. Another thing you might see sometimes is something that looks like a big horseshoe ring. that's apparently a walrus camp or something like that. I forget what it's called exactly. But during the winter, walruses will hang out there. And I've never run into a walrus camp before in the winter, but I heard they're not fun, so probably don't hang out with them. Here's a graveyard. Well, not a graveyard, a grave, a singular grave. This right here, if you get a shovel, or you create a shovel, you can dig that up, and it might have something in there. It might be something that's really useful to you. It might have a ghost, which will try to eat you. It might have crap that you can give the Pig King. Who knows? But it does take your sanity away to dig up the grave. And as you see right now, I'm looking at this pile of dirt. It's a suspicious pile of dirt. And if you follow it, which I'm not actually going to do, because, well, I'm going to explain to you, that if you follow it, it will take you to a beast, or I believe as the longer that you live, the more likely it is to take you to electric goats or something like that, and they're not fun to be around because they're kind of mean and electrified, and yeah. And as you can see, these berries have regrown, so I'm going to pick them. And again, I'm picking them in the nighttime, so any of the turkeys that spawn just hide in the bush again. And I've pissed off the spiders, so I'm going to keep going and get out of here. And I think what's going to happen is, as you can see, it's kind of wiggly because of the fact that my sanity is going down. Because Wilson does not like the darkness. So any time spent in the dark without a campfire, I believe, makes him kind of crazy. Which means I should be picking flowers, but I haven't been. But I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and set a fire down. And I'm going to end it here. I know I said 5 days, but 4 days will work. And I'm going to thank you all very much for watching again, and hope that you kind of understand the basics of how to play Don't Starve now. So, bye!